Good evening, everyone. Pep Man Matt Morrow in a new upgraded studio. Welcome to Friday Night Live. Man, what a crazy night of football in many different ways. Incredible scores coming across the ticker tonight. Um, I, I don't even know where to start, man. But we're gonna have the guys join us here in just a couple of minutes. But please post your scores, post your observations. I'm gonna post the link if anyone wants to join the show. I'm gonna put it in the chat here in the comments. So if you click this link, you'll be able to join us on the show if you would like. Mega producer is coming on with us.
Good evening. Good evening.
Hadn't seen you in about an hour.
Yeah, it's been a good 60 minutes, man. You're right.
um, so we were at Butler and Charlotte Catholic tonight, and producer, I'm gonna let you talk first because I'm still trying to get my head around what we saw tonight. Man, just incredible stuff.
Man, I think the way I want to describe it initially is really a tale of two games. Honestly, I felt like I literally watched two games. The first three quarters, were all Catholic. Catholic was playing great defense, honestly dominating on defense, um, and scoring just enough. They weren't lighting it up, but they had it up 19-0, so they scored three touchdowns, um, and just had all the energy, all the momentum. With about 10 minutes left in the fourth, if you had looked around, looked at both sidelines, looked at the crowd, you would have said, you know what, that the Cal is gonna just march this one on in. And then it's like uh, Butler just hit a switch. Like, you know what? We're not going down. Number five name eludes me right now, but Pet Man will remind us. Lily scored three times for Butler. Um, he lit the spark, I think, when he took the kickoff back. It was 19-0. They get the kickoff and he takes it to the house, and I think that really did it. That got the wheels turning. That was the spark they needed. Then he scores on another touchdown pass, made it 19-14. Um, and then, there's he gets another catch, so it makes it 2019. And then something told me that they were going to get a turnover. I called it. That man can vouch for me on this one. I said, I feel like they're going to get a turnover. And sure enough, they did. Butler woke up. Yeah, Makai Carr, that's it. Yes, thank you. Um, yeah, awesome performance. They just decided they weren't going to lose. And, they put it all together. So, yeah, man, it was lit. The first three quarters, you would have not thought that though. You thought that Charlotte Catholic probably score one more time and it was going to be over. And Butler looked like they were going to get shut out, honestly. And then they just woke up and refused to lose. And I'm curious here because I feel like things like this kind of momentum, sometimes it spills into other games. So we can see how this carries them. But um, you know, great game. I want to say great game to kids that played in both teams, and congrats to Butler for come from behind victory.
Yeah, man, incredible stuff. If you go on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, all of our normal outlets, you'll see the interviews that we did after the game with Butler quarterback Zach Lawrence and number five wide receiver Makai Carr. Just incredible stuff over at Butler tonight. I didn't get a chance to interview Coach Hales. I think he did an interview with like 8 TV stations that were there. So you can get his words from those interviews. And then they honored the 2010 and 2012 championship teams at halftime, and he was talking with those guys after the game. I didn't want to disturb the moment, but on top of that, it was his birthday. So, I'm sure he's having a great night. And, yeah.
And let me add, how can I forget this part? This major detail. The last pass he caught literally was on a tip ball. tip ball,
Yes.
pop fly. He keeps his stride somehow. It's almost like he knew it was coming to him, and he literally caught a tip ball in stride and just toted it on into the end zone. It's like, I don't know. It's like you went from nothing going their way to everything going their way in the blink of an eye. Like, they literally couldn't get anything going for 3 quarters, and then it just boom hit the switch. So yeah, that's it's kind of interesting they would have a performance like that in the fourth quarter with former champs, watching and looking ahead. It's kind of interesting just to see all that happening, man. But I couldn't leave out that detail, man. I'm sure we'll have a video posted up, but literally a tip ball, caught it in stride, touchdown. So it's just going their way. Sometimes the chips just fall your for your benefit. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you, on a typical night, I would take another 5 minutes and just talk about all the stuff that happened in that game. But we got so much going on, and we got a guest that wants to come on and talk about another huge game that happened tonight. Mallard Creek.
Is it Derek Chambers?
Yes.
Ah.
Mallard Creek taking down Huff 13-9. And we're going to bring Derek Chambers on, and we just going to let him go. So y'all hang on. Here he is, Derek Chambers.
How you doing?
Good. The floor is yours, man. Take us through it.
Well, it was a defensive game. Mallard Creek won on 2 pick six.
Wow.
That was it, man.
You don't hear that
down. We shut them down. The only reason they scored that touchdown that they got was they got a pick, and it was on our side of the field. So they had short field. They scored that way, but after that, our defense took over, man. Our defense played a hell of a good game. And y'all, please understand, we won this game with our backup quarterbacks, and even our second string quarterback is hurt. So he played limited. And then the sophomore came in. He did an outstanding job. So, look, it was a total team effort. But all I got to say is I keep telling y'all, don't sleep on them Creek boys. One thing about strength of schedule. Strength of schedule. Mm-hmm. That tough schedule, it means a lot. It means a lot. So I'll say this much. My son got that pick six, so you'll see it on the night. The first touchdown. The first touchdown that Mallard Creek got. And he's a defensive lineman. Small but short. Awesome. You've written about him.
Yeah.
So he did his thing. He did his thing. Yes, sir.
Awesome, man.
It's pretty impressive, man. I don't think I've ever heard of a team winning just purely on defensive points. Like that's very impressive from a defensive standpoint.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was. It was a good game, man. All I can say is that we battle tested and we ready to make this run. So the clock is on. Tick tock, tick tock. That's all I can say. Tick tock, tick tock.
Well, right. I'll tell you this, Derek. Every other poll in North Carolina, when y'all lost to Buford, they forgot about Mallard Creek. We were the only ones that kept you guys in the poll.
Greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, well, it's being reflected now. To go over to Huff and win on 2 pick sixes. That's incredible, man. That's incredible stuff, man. Congratulations to you and the Mavericks on a huge win. And go celebrate, man.
Yeah, I am, and I hope to see y'all on October 28th against Chambers.
You will.
We've
already talked
about it. We talked about it already. We'll be there.
All righty.
All right.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a great. Look, I appreciate everything y'all do, man. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Thanks a lot, man. As Mallard Creek superfan Derek Chambers, we go from one superfan to one big man. That's Big Shelby.
One big man.
That's so crazy, man.
Wow. Well, Big Shelby, you were at a game tonight. You guys played on Thursday and you knocked off Bessemer City in a big way. And where'd you go tonight?
Well, tonight I had the pleasure of going to Chambers in North Mint, man. It was a pretty good game, man. It was Chambers first time I ever been a part of somebody doing homecoming and senior night in the same night. So shout out to Coach Lash and the administration for pulling that off and getting all that together without any confusion and things like that. But man, first half, man, it was a good game, man. North Met was still there. It was 13-7. Chambers started out a little rocky. A lot of dumb penalties, man, on offense, man. A lot of false start, holding, just a lot of small stuff. And then they came out third quarter and put up like 30 unanswered, man. So it was a great night, man. I got to meet my guy, Papa Bass. Man. I went to the tailgate after the game. Shout out to Zion Booker's mom for making me a to-go plate so I can get back down the road and come get on the show, man. But, yeah, man, Chambers, man, they showed me a lot. Showed me to be very resilient. That defense they have led by Coach Cannon, man, the defensive coordinator, man. The defense, man, it's a great defense, man. Even though they're not as complete as normal, they have a dude on every level, man. They got, as you know, man, you got Jackson Bass, man, defense end. He was I don't understand why people keep running to him. I run away from him, man. He's very good. He's very technically sound, man. He's not as explosive as you see most ends would be, but he's very skilled, man, very, very disciplined, and he does everything he's supposed to do. Then you got Jordan Thompson, the linebacker in the middle, that just sideline to sideline, man, does a good job of getting the guys lined up. Then you got TJ McGill at the safety position, even though he's not as tall as most safeties. He's very aggressive, man. He's the leader of the back end, and he just flies around, man. I was very impressed with just seeing their defense able to just shut them down pretty much the whole game.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. Chambers was off last week, so they had 2 weeks to kind of, get it back together. And sometimes, you talk about the start. Sometimes you've been off for 2 weeks. It takes a little bit to get it going, but obviously they came out in that third quarter and was hitting on all cylinders.
I'll be having the 2 weeks off. Then a lot of distractions, obviously, with homecoming and senior night going on. At the same time, so many people just on the track or just probably in the way. So, a lot of times sometimes the guys with the kids, man, the focus don't be there at first. And, the offense started clicking. Bubba Campton just missed a couple of gimme throws that he probably normally would make, but they came out the second half and got multiple touchdowns by different people, man. I know Sean Walker got him one. Casey got him one, and Casey's little brother got him one, and Zion Booker got him one. Then the running back ended up punching one in from long, man. So, they did a good job of just staying with it, they just kept playing and didn't really give up at all, man. So sometimes it be like that, man. You might have a night where defense carries and offense just picks it up late, or you have a night where offense is just firing on all cylinders, then defense just comes along, man. So it was a good game to have, man. I was rooting for those guys moving forward.
All right, that's good stuff, man. All right, well, let's get to some comments because we got a lot to get to here. Of course, Chat Administrator is here. 54-7, Mooresville. With a victory next week, they will clinch the Greater Metro 4 Conference title, per the Chat Administrator. So, kudos to Mooresville. They are rolling, man, big time. Cox Mill 45, Lake Norman 7.
Jesus.
I'm telling you, man. Cox Mill is they got that offense going. They got it going. Now the defense is, they're complementing each other, and Lake Norman with 2 big losses back to back, lost by 45 to Hickory Ridge and 38 to Cox Mill. So they're 6-2, but they gotta reverse this trend, man. Yeah. Sometimes, we talked about it back when Independence was winning all their games in a row. You would play them, and then they would beat you the next week because you'd still be hungover, from just a tough beatdown. And I don't know if that's the case with Lake Norman after, cruising along and getting hit by Hickory Ridge like that. So, I don't know. We'll have to really watch and see how they can bounce back here. A.L. Brown shutting out South Iredale 28-0. Good job for those guys. Karen Belk, Independence over East Mac, 53-0. Starters only played the first half. They weren't letting more. We got to talk about this, guys. We've had multiple reports of fights tonight at games. This is one in Independence. We had the situation at Olympic that's been posted on social media. And then Big Shelby, you said there were some things going on at Chambers as well. I'll tell you this. Back in the day, they used to play games at 8 o'clock, and it was great. It was great from, the fact that everyone could get there on time, get a seat, get comfortable, and you'd have, much, much bigger crowds. But they moved it to 7:30 because things were happening, like this after games. Then they were still happening, and they moved it to 7, here in Charlotte and some other areas to try to, curtail some of that stuff. But now we still got it going on. And this has been by far the worst night of multiple reports of fights and, shooting and things like that. I don't know what else can be done. At Olympic, they literally cleared the stadium and then they finished the game with no fans. It's absolutely insane. And you want your family members and, everybody to come and enjoy the football game, and you got this foolishness going on.
The worst part, the negative effect there too, is that it would start to deter people from coming out. They'll just say, "But I want to go, but I don't want to be around that or violence or whatever." So yeah, I hope that needs to stop though.
Yeah. Now with Olympic, what happened was there was a fight in the stands, and it spilled onto the field somehow. And I haven't seen any video of it, but I'm sure there'll be some video that comes out at some point. And it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. And, they made, we didn't really talk about it, but CMS made some rules about, if you're a certain age, you have to have an adult chaperone to come to games. And, I thought that was a good decision, a proactive decision to try to deter some of this, but I don't know, if it's being enforced or what.
I know we have something like that in Cleveland County now, just because of how many fights the kids have. But the only issue with it, where it's still hard to control, because say I'm at an Independence and Mallard Creek game, and I'm with my mom. And I come in with my mom, but my mom ends up on the Independence side. Then I end up on the Mallard Creek side, and I'm over there fighting. Like as a parent, you know what you're supposed to do. They done came with me to the game, but then the kids are still just doing it, man. It's just crazy how people just can't go to the games and just have a good time and enjoy the games.
Right.
Then it's crazy to me, even though it's good to have some type of what is it called? Some type of emergency escape plan already made up. I know Chambers, when stuff happens like that, they run to behind the scoreboard. But it's crazy that you even have to have the kids prepared, and the kids already know what to do. That's what really is crazy. When you see it, you're like, how often does this happen? You know what I'm saying? And it was crazy. After that, you had the helicopter circling the field, cut the lights off. They got the, what I'm saying? It just kind of, as a kid, you're seeing stuff like that, and you're just like, wow, man. Like, as a first time, me being at Chambers for the first time, I know it's nothing on Chambers security, nothing like that, but it's just crazy. It's crazy just how, like, at every school, like, the kids are already prepared and know what's like the emergency evacuation plan and things like that. So that's crazy.
I'll tell you now, and I'll say this. This has been going on for a while. At Harding, my freshman year, and we didn't really do it much after that, but it was still ingrained in us. We used to do and it's sad to say this, we used to do we called it a gun drill. And we would do it, and every week at practice, we would do it once a week. Someone would yell gun, and you'd have to get on the ground, cover your head, put your face in the ground, cover your helmet like this, and then just lay down until someone would say clear, and then you got up. So, this stuff has been happening for a long time, unfortunately, but, to see it spike like this is really disappointing. And we'll talk more about it, on the show next week, but hopefully everybody is safe tonight, and hopefully the authorities are doing what they need to do.
It just sucks. It takes attention away from the kids and the good games and good performances. People are gonna be talking about, incidents when the focus should be on the kids and the outcomes and the performances they saw tonight. So yeah, hopefully no more.
Yeah, let's talk about another big game. We talked about three big games. We've talked about two of them. The third big game was Charlotte Christian and Providence Day. Providence Day was leading this game 34-14 going into the fourth quarter. And similar to what we saw at Butler and Charlotte Catholic, Charlotte Christian won this game on a last-second buzzer-beating field goal, 38-37. Justin Adams was there. I retweeted his video of the field goal that Christian made to win the football game. What's more impressive about that? Christian came back and took a 35-34 lead with 1:06 left in the game. And then Providence Day was able to kick a field goal, retake the lead 37-35. And then Christian was able to get into position. Now, this was not a short field goal. It looked like it was about a 45-yard field goal. And he nailed it. It's impressive, man. And, I talked about Charlotte Christian in the beginning of the season. A lot of people asked me, why do you got them ranked? I had them like in 6 or 7 in the Dirty Dozen. And now they lost a tough game, the Rabun Gap. But, one of the things that I said before the season was Charlotte Christian has the athletes that can match up with Providence State, and they can cause some problems for them on offense. Now, it took them a while to get going tonight, but you see what they're capable of once they get going. So that's a huge win, for that Charlotte Christian program. But Jason Easteps, he's won a bunch of championships with that team, and sometimes I feel like either people don't remember or they don't give him the respect that he deserves. He's done an amazing job, with that program for a long time. And every time they play, them in Providence Day, it's awesome. It's always an awesome game. We saw those games during the COVID year, producer.
Yep.
I think we covered them twice, as a matter of fact. It was once at Christian, then the follow-up in the playoffs over at PD. And just great stuff, man. A lot of talent on the field. That talent shown tonight. And Christian gets a huge win.
And props on that field goal. 45 in high school is pretty long, man. It's not NFL kickers. That's
pretty long. Yeah. Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I'll tell you, with these 3 games, you're going to see a lot of changes in the Dirty Dozen next week. Because I gotta sit down and really think about where everyone, should be now. And producer, you brought up the fact that producer, you brought up the fact that Mallard Creek might be ranked number 1.
I put it out there, it kind of is a rhetorical question that, if you or someone else wanted to put Mallard Creek at number 1, the argument can be made. At this point, I'm not going to say yes or no, but they made a strong case, strong argument. If you just look at, the teams at the top 3, you can make that claim. I don't think it's far-fetched to say, and that's pretty crazy to think. If you think about, kind of as far as we had them ranked, coming from, 8, 9 to already be in the conversation, potentially they could be ranked number 1. So, we'll see I already know what Derek Chambers going to say, but we'll see what
they're going to have. They got a big showdown either way it goes in 2 weeks, so it's a lot riding on that last game.
Yes,
and that's what we call selling it on the field. At that game, it won't matter what we think. We'll see what happens there. We'll see what other big matchup comes from Huff, from in the playoffs, because it is likely 2 of those 3 are likely to meet again in the playoffs. It almost happens every year.
Every year.
I wish I had a CFI hoodie that kept me warm tonight, man. I was out there shivering.
Well, maybe if you
Karen Belt. So Catholic and Indy have the same record. Independence win the conference when we beat Butler. Ooh, Karen. In the final game of the regular season after Rocky River win. So Karen is just speaking victories into existence here. I love that. Right now, we have to sit down and look at it, because when you get down, the kind of tiebreakers and things like that, if it's a 3-way tie, there's a list of tie-breaking scenarios that happen. So we talked about this last year with the SOMEC conference, because it was so crazy. We had like 4 teams that were about to have the same record at 1 week. I remember we talked about that, and the tiebreak scenarios are very specific. So that's something we'll get into on the Wednesday show. But yes, is the short answer. They have a chance, to win the conference. But there are scenarios that, have to happen for that, for Independence to do so. Let's see. Mr. Walker, big ups to Chambers homecoming king, Mr. Sean Walker Jr. Congratulations, Sean.
Yeah,
there you
Sean
go.
also won
Yeah.
home game, man. That's a big night for him, man.
All right, man. Good stuff.
Pretty cool
man.
kid, man. Very well mannered, very respectful, man. Had a good time talking to him during the game.
Yeah, he is. He is a good kid and comes from a good family as well. Let's see.
Hey, also shout out to
go ahead.
Also shout out. Well, I feel for another game. Shout out to Olympic, man. They're 8-0, man. I know people ain't really talking about them. They flying under the radar, but they're 8-0 right now, man. Congratulations to Coach Hart and those guys over there, man.
Yeah, they won 28-22. So that was a real crazy situation, like we talked about earlier. They had to clear the stadium and then resume the game. So at least for them to keep their composure and focus and get the victory is.
I feel like that might be part of their motivation to fly under the radar. The certain teams get a lot of attention, and they just keep on winning. And I feel like that might be how they want it. Just keep winning and handling business. They don't need to be the forefront of everyone's attention. I feel like they're okay with that.
Well, they're gonna have a showdown with RGK coming up. I know it might be next week. I have to look at the schedule. I know that's coming up soon. And that'll be, you can pretty much look at the conference and say that's for the conference title. So it'll be a conference title game.
RGK next week.
Next week, okay. That's on my short list. It's on the short list for next week.
Yeah.
Let's see.
8-0.
Yeah. We went to that game last year, and it came down to the final drive, and RGK won that game. What was it, like 13-10 or something like that?
Yeah, it was
low scoring game. Yeah, it was a good one. Let's see. Chat administrator talking about Mr. Howell hit over 1,000 yards for the year, and then the second running back with over 700, Westmoreland. Good stuff, man. That's a heck of a 1-2 punch. You can run the football. You can win a lot of football games, for sure. Maurice Macon, dedicated watcher. Barry over Palisades 13-10. Cam Macon, the game-winning touchdown, 40 seconds left in the game. I hear you, man. That's awesome. We all picked Palisades. So, I heard about that on Instagram. I think half of Barry's roster, commented about that.
That's usually how it works.
As usual, yes, you're exactly right. So,
I'm trying to remind you.
So, Barry, you're welcome for the motivation. I love you guys, but you're welcome for the motivation. There you go. Let's see here. We got a lot of comments, man. Good gracious. Let's see. We got to catch up. Patrick C. Much respect to the Creek. Can't wait for that Creek versus Chambers game. Yep, we're gonna be there. I promise you that. Let's see. When we're talking about, there's some comments about what we were talking about with the fights and things like that. Let's see. Community School Davidson 42, Lake Norman Charter 0. AJ Sirianni breaks the school record for touchdowns in a season with 40. Also running for a touchdown. God almighty.
40 touchdowns, and still there was a couple games left.
2 weeks left in the regular season. I know teams that didn't score 40 touchdowns in a season themselves. I might have played on a couple of them. But nah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome stuff for Community School Davidson and AJ. Really, really good stuff, man. Awesome. All right. 10 winners from Union County football. Monroe over Parkwood, 40-0. Monroe with 6 interceptions. Good gracious. What's up with all the interceptions, man? It's like every week now we got like 3 or 4 Petman players with multiple interceptions. Is everyone trying to run the spread when they can't run the spread? Maybe that's the problem. But that's awesome, man. Monroe's a heck of a team in 2A. It's going to be fun in the 2A playoffs. Summer Blevins, West Meck over Hopewell, 22-6. Oh, you're not late, Summer. We started early. We started at 11. I know we usually start about 11:45, but we wanted to start earlier tonight because we had a lot to talk about. And congrats to West Meck. All y'all picked West Meck. I picked Hopewell, so I'm used to being the loser.
The question is, who's gonna get the bonus? That's the real question.
Oh, I hadn't seen the bonus final score. Blythewood was up 14-0, but I hadn't seen the final on that yet. Okay. Terrence Loss just coming in. Mather Creek defense just might be the best ever assembled. Wow, at the school. And
it's hard to say, man. When they won back-to-back state championships or back-to-back.
Yeah, it was 3. Yeah,
it's hard to say, man.
Now Terrence would know. I will say Terrence would know. But
yeah, Blythewood won 21-7.
I mean, beating in. I mean, I know it's just a small sample, but beating Huff without your offense scoring says quite a bit.
2 pick sixes, all your points. That's
right.
Yeah.
That's
the sign of a great defense. I will say that. I will definitely say that. Let's see. Armani Bird. Clover Blue Eagles took an L tonight against Blythewood. Great game, though, by both defenses. Well, we all got the bonus.
Glad I opted in.
Nah, you opted out, man.
Nah. I thought about it, but no, I stuck with it.
Oh, man. Thank you, Coach Seidel. Checks in the mail. All right. Let's take a look at the ticker and see what other scores we have not discussed yet. So let's get that up. All right. Ardrey Kill, 36-0 over our Harding Rams. That was a tough one, but shout out to Ardrey Kill. Like we said, they got that big one next week up against Olympic. Providence over Rocky River, 42-12. That's Providence's 3rd win on the season. West Rowan over Central Cabarrus, 36-12. Sumter Productions was there. He'll have highlights from that game. I believe he said it was going to be on Monday. Northwest Cabarrus win over Concord, 26-22. That's a good game right there. Concord looks like they're starting to get together. I have to take a look and see if they've got a shot at the playoffs, which we were supposed to do last week. I completely forgot. We will break down playoff projections and RPIs and all that stuff next week on the show. Y'all don't let me forget. I promise we will do that so we can give everybody an idea where they're at. Christ School over Country Day, 24-13. Rabun Gap coming up to Charlotte, beating Charlotte Latin 42-28. Marvin Ridge, big over Piedmont, 54-7. Weddington Warriors over Sun Valley, 42-21. Tim Winters was there, who'll have coverage from that great game right there. Catawba Ridge, big over Lancaster, 60-14. Catawba Ridge rolling undefeated down in the upstate of South Carolina. Asheville Christian, oh man, they knock off Hickory Grove. Hickory Grove's first loss on the season, 40-32. Man, I was hoping they were going to run the table. Oh, well. Let's see. Mountain Island in the win column. Coach Washington, hope you're feeling better, man. 28-7 over Bishop McGinnis. Forest Hills rolling 8-0. 35-14 over West Stanley. Let's see. Pine Lake, our buddies at Pine Lake, 35-6 over Carver in Winston-Salem. You know, I saw something really cool. I saw that Carver was going to name their field after Keith Wilkes. You know, the legendary coach up at Carver, won, so many titles up there, did some great things with that program. Really deserving, and I hope that becomes official soon. Coach Chart at Pine Lake wanted to shout out the O-line and the fullbacks, Ryan Conatillo, Griffin Purley, Braden Repart, Jack Smith, Cole Jensen, Tyson Poppin, and Nick Puckett. They rushed for 251 yards and 2 touchdowns. They threw for 105 and 3 touchdowns. No sacks, no pressures, no negative rushing plays. And the starting defense has only allowed 16 points all season. Good gracious. Pine Lake is rolling. Good stuff, man. All right. Let's see. Let's go back to the ticker. Porter Ridge over Cuthbertson 42-9. Kings Mountain big over Stuart Kramer 63-24. Crest big over Forest View 51-7. Another big one. Burns big over East Gaston 44-0. Joe Hughes was there. He'll have coverage from that game. This was a good game. South Point over Ashbrook 28-19. Good football game in Gaston County over there. Nation Ford over Rock Hill 41-28. I think that's their first win this year, if I'm not mistaken. South Point over Indian Land 19-7. That's South Point, South Carolina over Indian Land 19-7. Spring Valley over Fort Mill 28-21. Northwestern big over York 45-17. East Lincoln big over St. Stevens 55-3. A.L. Brown shutting out South Iredale 28-0. Thomas Jefferson getting into the win column 26-20 over Cherville. North Lincoln big over Fair T4 55-17. Carolina Bearcats fall to North Wake 60-26. Covenant Day back in the win column 27-14 over Corvian. And that is the ticker right there. All right, let's see if we got any more comments. Let's see here. Yeah, Miss Burlows, we talked about that whole situation with yeah, it was unfortunate. That's real unfortunate. Hopefully we can find a way to get that stuff corrected sooner than later. All right, and then Patrick C. Marvin Ridge has their QB1 back. Yep. We talked a little bit about Marvin Ridge on the show this past Wednesday. Evan Metters, that's his name. Super talented kid, doing a great job leading that Maverick program. Marcus Bell coming in. Kings Mountain running back Teddy Jeffries with 5 rushing touchdowns tonight. Oh, okay. I gotta look up Teddy Jeffries. If I don't follow him, I'm gonna follow him. Sounds like a Pep Man player right there. That's for sure. Teddy Jeffries. Yeah, we do follow him. Okay. Yep, 5'10", 175. I love he's got this 3.5 GPA. That's in his bio. That's good stuff right there. Class of 2024. Good stuff. I'll be following up on Mr. Jeffries. I hope he gets those highlights up so we can get those out there. So those college coaches can check them out and see them. Excuse me. Yes, we started at 11. We started at 11 tonight. We had the Butler game kind of ended a little early than we normally did. A lot of running in that game. So we were all free and we decided to start early. But my crew has left me. So I'm glad we started early because they probably wouldn't have been available at our normal 11:45 start time. But anyway, Nicole Logan Short, I would like to hear more about the Mallard Creek game. Well, I'll tell you, Nicole, as soon as this ends, you'll be able to go back and you'll hear from Derek Chambers, Mallard Creek super fan who came on the show. Like everyone else can come on the show. If you click the link that we post, you can click that link and come on and talk about your teams. No matter what team it is, we want to hear from everybody. But we talked about that, and it was an incredible win over Huff, 13-9. They had 2 pick sixes that accounted for all their scoring. We know that defense is real up at Mallard Creek, and it's a huge win, for them, to kind of validate everything they've been doing this year to this point. We know they got the big showdown with Chambers in 2 weeks. We're going to be there for that one. I know the quarterback situation, they've had some injuries there. But if you're able to step in and manage like what they're doing and let your defense win games, literally, it's a good formula for success. That's for sure. And then Frederick Brown, Huff only scored field goals, no touchdowns. Yep, that's accurate. I saw they had two first half field goals of about, I think, 35, 31 yards or something like that. Then they tacked another one on in the second half. But that's all their points. That's a really, really strong performance. And I mean, it's a strong performance for Huff's defense too, because I mean, they got a shutout. I mean, to be honest, Huff's defense got a shutout. But we had 2 pick sixes, and that's the game. So that's why it's all 3 phases. And when we talked about this game on Wednesday, we talked about the fact that points are going to be hard to come by, and whoever won the turnover battle, was going to probably win the football game because there's a small margin for error. And if you protect the football and you're able to play field position and play smart, you're going to come out with a victory. So, once again, kudos to Mallard Creek. We talked about the big Butler game. We were at Butler Charlotte Catholic tonight. That's an incredible comeback by Butler. You'll get highlights and pictures if you're up late tonight or early in the morning. You'll see that stuff. It's just been a crazy night. We talked about Charlotte Christian defeating Providence Day. If you haven't heard that, they won 38-37 on a last second field goal. It's like about 45 yard field goal. If you go on Twitter, I tweeted it out from Justin Adams, who was there. Great comeback win for Christian. They were down 20 starting the fourth quarter. Butler was down 19 with 10 minutes left to go in the game and came back and won 20-19. Incredible football being played all across the area tonight. Let's see here. Terrence Walsh, Huff had 1st and 10 6 times inside the Creek 15 and can only manage 3 field goals. Yeah, we saw a lot of that talent at HBCU Carolina Showcase in May, and we knew that they were going to be legit on that side of football, and it's bearing out. It's bearing out for sure. All right, before I sign off, I want to say this is the last weekend to sign up for the Queen City Senior Bowl. Make sure you go to queencityseniorbowl.com if you have a senior who wants to play in the game and you feel like they're deserving of the accolade. Make sure they go on there. It takes 2 minutes to fill out the information. And then we'll have the cutoff on Sunday night. And then you'll have a selection show will be done toward the end of the month. That'll announce who made the Queen City Senior Bowl. So I please implore you to have your seniors fill that out. It's free. There's no cost for the Queen City Senior Bowl if you're selected. We do this, for deserving kids across the metro area. It's a great thing. This is my 4th one being involved in, and the team, it's not my game. A lot of people think it's my game, but it's not. I'm just a partner with some great guys that do a great job every year putting this around, putting it together and getting it out there. And you have to apply to be considered. A lot of people say, well, why didn't you pick this guy? Why didn't you pick that guy? For this game, we want people that want to be in the game. There's a lot of people that, every bowl game does things differently. You'll see the Shrine Bowl just came out with theirs. They just, kind of pick their guys. Carolina Bowl, they do a watch list, and then they kind of offer, people to put up their film, and, then they kind of have their process. Our process is, if you want to play and be recognized, we want you to apply to do it. Because if you don't apply, that means you don't have anything invested. If you're not invested, then, I don't want to waste your time and say, hey, come play in this game. Because it's not about, how many star players you can get into a game, or say that you selected in the game, and then when the game comes, half of those star players don't play. And that's what I'll say about that. We want people that want to be here because we want to give people an experience that they'll appreciate. And, yeah. So please make sure you go to queencityseniorbowl.com for any seniors that have not filled out that registration form. Fill that out for consideration. Selection show will come out at the end of the month. And then that'll be that with that. Also, Winter Showcase, December the 10th. Basically, if you're not in the state championship game, you'll be available to participate in the Winter Showcase. It's only $100. We got at least, Kenneth McClamrock kind of heads up the college coach, portion of the camp. And he told me he's got over 25 colleges committed to coming. You'll start seeing those college announcements come out in November. You'll start seeing the promotion in November with the kids that have signed up and the different things that'll be at the Winter Showcase. So you can sign up for that at charlottefootballinsiders.com. Make sure you check that out. And that's only for juniors and seniors, though. Only for juniors and seniors because of NCAA recruiting rules. We can't allow freshmen and sophomores at this showcase. So, all right. That is Friday Night Live. I appreciate everyone watching us tonight. Great football. Congratulations to all the teams that won, all the players that had great performances. Make sure you send me a DM on Twitter or Instagram with your stats. And you can tag me in your highlights on Twitter like you always do at Petman704. Thanks for watching. Everyone have a great weekend. We'll see you on Wednesday night. Football Focus Weekly, 7:30 p.m. on these same outlets. Good night, everybody.